It might seem kind of gruesome, and it kind of is.
A state representative from North Idaho thinks the state's cannibalism laws aren't strict enough. A look at her proposed bill and why she thinks it's necessary. Plus, a huge announcement from Representative Kathy McMorris Rogers. After 20 years in Congress, she says she is not running for re-election. More on the decision and the implications.
Well, your Thursday saw plenty of rain showers across our region, but as we head into tomorrow morning, some of that rain looks to turn into snow.
KREM 2 News 10 at 10 begins now with Mark Hanrahan and Jeremy Legoo.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. We start tonight with some breaking news. Spokane police just arrested a man wanted for murder following an hours-long SWAT standoff. That standoff took place at a home in Spokane's Logan neighborhood. Police say the suspect barricaded himself inside that home and refused to cooperate with law enforcement. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk is live near Morton and Carlisle. And Kyle, what have you learned?
Well, yeah, Mark, police say this suspect barricaded himself in a basement crawl space and finally, after a few hours, decided to come out after police launched pepper spray into the home. 32-year-old Gunnar Doty is now in custody and charged with second-degree murder. Police say Doty is accused of shooting and killing a man in the front yard of a home on North Hamilton Street last Friday. Earlier tonight, police learned he was inside a home near the intersection of Morton and Carlisle, and he wasn't alone. Police were able to get a few adults and children safely out of the home. However, they say Gunnar refused to come out. The SWAT team launched drones, robots, and pepper spray into the home, and he surrendered just before 9 this evening.
In this case, he's wanted, I believe, for second-degree murder. And so it's obviously serious. There's a huge potential for violence, which is why you see us use so many resources.
And police set up a command post outside of Logan Elementary tonight. Right now, they are executing a search warrant and looking for evidence inside the home. Gunnar will be booked into the Spokane County Jail, and he could appear in court as early as tomorrow. And once that happens, we should learn more about this murder he's accused of committing. Reporting live in North Spokane, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
All right, Kyle, thank you very much. And earlier this evening, Spokane police released the names of the 9 officers who shot and killed a man on the South Hill last week. According to SPD, police responded to a call about a suicidal man armed with a gun near West Cliff Drive. When they arrived, they said the man raised the gun and pointed it at the officers. That's when the 9 officers shot the man. They are all on administrative leave while the sheriff's department conducts an investigation. A North Idaho lawmaker is turning heads, claiming Idaho's cannibalism laws aren't strict enough. Today, Representative Heather Scott introduced a bill making it illegal to serve another person human blood or flesh without their knowledge. Brian Holmes with our Boise sister station reports tonight.
The committee will now consideration RS 31078. Representative Scott.
In one of the most anticipated moments of the morning,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Republican Representative Heather Scott stepped to the podium in the House State Affairs Committee.
RS 31078, cannibalism. And I know this seems like it's a heavy topic, actually. It might seem kind of gruesome, and it kind of is.
Cannibalism is already a crime in Idaho under a chapter titled Mayhem. Any person who willfully ingests the flesh or blood of a human being is guilty of cannibalism. It was passed in 1990 after a rash of unfounded satanic panic investigations in Idaho during the 80s. Representative Scott wants to add a line to that law. Anyone who willfully provides said flesh and blood to another person to ingest without that person's knowledge or consent is also guilty of cannibalism. Okay, so why is this a worry for an Idaho lawmaker? Well, Representative Scott brought up 2 reasons.
So a few years ago, back in 2019, I heard that Washington State was starting to do human composting, and that disturbed me. So I wanted to address this because what I didn't want to see is bags of compost with human bone fragments.
Yes, human composting is a thing in several states, including Washington. But the remains aren't being bagged. They're being spread in a forest outside Battleground, Washington, to help it recover from logging. And the other reason Representative Scott got during a flight last summer.
And I watched a video of some food show.
All right, Chef, can you tell us the 3 secret ingredients that might be found in this amazing sausage that you made for us today?
The 3 secret ingredients that might be found in the sausage are fish liver, human flesh or shark?
Are those really the 3 ingredients?
Yeah,
And one of the options they told these people that was in the food was human flesh.
or human flesh.
God help you, it better be shark. Not okay. That's
No,
not all
hey,
right.
you know,
It's a wonderful renewable protein.
Well, hey, all right,
No,
are you
that's
sure?
disgusting. That's
I didn't know it was gonna go like this
no,
either.
that's
This is
really
the problem with the
disgusting.
stigma of this.
Chef, are you serious?
Yeah, of course.
I thought, this is going to be normalized at some point. The way our society's going and the direction we're going, this is going to be normalized.
So Representative Scott based her bill on a video posted to TikTok a month ago
Yes, I'm afraid you're both wrong. It is human flesh.
No.
about something that wasn't actually real.
We're gonna stop shooting this right now. We're gonna do another show called Fameless. It's David Spade's new prank show.
Thank God.
I guess this is what happens when you do your own research.
There's a lot of documentation.
Well, here in Washington, the 60-day legislative session just hit the halfway point, but in Idaho, there was no designated end date. In fact, the 2021 session made state history, clocking in at 311 days. But typically they run between 75 and 90 days, wrapping up in late March or early April. So let's see where we are. As of this week, lawmakers introduced 151 bills. Of those, only one has passed both chambers. House Bill 385 updates the definition of the Internal Revenue Code. There is a chance the session could end early considering it's an election year. Legislators tend to adjourn well before the primary election. That's coming up on May 21st. In other news, lawmakers voted the Idaho House Majority Leader Megan Blanksma out of her role today. This after contentious debate on how budgets should be handled by officials. House Republicans will release more information, they say, after electing the next Majority Leader coming up on Monday. All right, switching gears to talk weather. Gray skies might be coming to an end, at least for tomorrow. But first, let's talk about this winter weather advisory. Cody?
Well, Mark, yeah, we have that winter weather advisory that has now gone into effect. A beautiful view over downtown as we check in at this time. Temperatures over the Spokane airport are at 35 degrees. We finally have a break from that rain that we have been dealing with throughout parts of today. Winds coming out of the south at 8 miles per hour. Across our region, we're mostly tracking into those 30s to low 40s, so a little bit cooler for some. Looks like at this time it's really only about Moscow that is below that freezing mark. Not by much, but just a bit. Meanwhile, as we take a look at our satellite radar map, we've been keeping track of that wet weather that's been moving into our region, and we're keeping an eye on this next round of precipitation that we're expecting potentially as early as tonight. We had that rain today. Some places did pick up some snow here and there, but with this winter weather advisory is in effect until noon tomorrow. Snow showers are expected. Be sure to plan on slick roads tomorrow morning for that morning commute. The next 12 hours for the most part looking like we're going to drop down to the low 30s as we head into our morning, and then tomorrow expect a high of about 38 degrees with that slight chance of snow showers. Saturday though could see us with mostly sunshine. All
right, sounds good. Cody will check back in with you later in the broadcast. Now to our night beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. We spent the day looking into statistics on drug overdoses in Spokane. After hearing from viewers, they seem to be on the rise. While exact numbers are hard to track, we are learning first responders are seeing an uptick. These numbers are from Spokane's fire department. In 2021, SFD responded to an average of 3 overdoses a day. Last year, that number jumped to 1,600, averaging 4 calls a day. In the first 38 days of 2024, SFD has responded to 249 OD calls. That's an average of 6 per day. Spokane police don't generally respond to overdoses, but they even say they're seeing an apparent increase.
Just using searches for words of like Narcan in a police report and looking for calls where we responded and it was later identified as an overdose, it does seem to be that there is a little bit of an increase just in the last few weeks.
SPD says in the last 9 days, there have been 30 mentions of the word Narcan in their police reports. Jubilant Hollister Steer held a ribbon cutting today for an expansion that will bring hundreds of new jobs to the area. The company makes sterile injectables, syringes with medicine already in them. JHS has been in Spokane for more than 100 years. The new line expansion will bring more than 200 jobs to Spokane. And new tonight, the U.S. District Attorney for Eastern Washington indicted 2 more people from Spokane for claiming fraudulent COVID-19 funding. 54-year-old Antonio Feliciano Crawford from Meade is indicted on 30 counts of wire fraud, bank fraud, and false claims from relief applications. Meantime, attorneys claim 59-year-old Sherilyn Oberg knowingly participated in a fraud scheme, obtaining $150,000 in funding from a fake application submitted in the name of a business that Oberg was not involved with. If charged, they are facing a maximum sentence between 20 and 30 years in prison.